how can we as older seasoned saints be more engaging with the younger people? I mean, it's hard because, you know, they're in a whole different atmosphere. They're uh, uh, in a whole different dispensation almost than we are, than we
Yeah.
can. So what can we do to help the older people out there? I know it's about young people, but how can we help young people?
And honestly, my seasoned saints, please forgive me. This statement may come as a little harsh, but growing up, we used to hear our parents say, "Oh, they're just set in their ways. There's no changing them. They're just set in their ways." And so, right now, I would say, even as older saints, not to say that we're set in our ways, but we have to be creative in how we navigate connecting to them. Why? Because they're hardwired different. I'm just going to be honest. They are wired different. My son is 1.5 and he knows how to work my phone. Hear me? Swiping, calling, FaceTiming, the whole nine. They are wired different. So as older people, even with me sometimes being the youth pastor and even dealing with young adults, we have to transition creative ways to keep their attention. We know that we can get it, but how do we keep it? We
Okay.
know that we can get it for a while, but how do we maintain their attention? We know that they're listening, but how do we make them transition from actually listening to actually being engaged while listening? I'll put it like
Right.
this.
That's what I'm
They're
saying.
hearing us. They're hearing us, but they're not listening. Let me break that down. When you hear something, you can hear it. It goes one ear and out the other. You can reverberate it later. But when you're listening to something, you replay it. When you're listening to something, it stops you in your tracks and saying, man, did I do that? Did I do that the right way? So we have to be creative in getting our young people to listen. I know growing up, I used to get in trouble because I wasn't listening all the time. My mom would always say, why are you not listening? Why are you not listening? The point was I was hearing her. I just wasn't listening. Why? Because I thought my agenda was greater than what she had at the moment. And so then she had to begin defining, here it is, defining the authority. And what that means, even as seasoned saints, we have to define our authority, not over them, but to let them know we've been where you're going. We've been where you're trying to go. And hear me just for a minute. We have to let them know in creative ways, this is where you want to be. This is how you change. This is how you do things the right way. So I believe it just takes a redefining of the relationship. And that starts with the narrative of changing the way we engage creatively. I can't engage my 4-year-old the way I grew up. We played outside. I mean, drinking from water hoses, playing in the mud, making mud pies, throwing rocks, hitting golf balls. We did all of it. This generation, they're here.
Right.
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 They're here. It's born and bred in them. So now what do? We slowly integrate and introduce them things that will give them different tools and resources that'll help them. Even though they may not like it, we pull them away from the electronics and say, listen, this is what's gonna help you, and maybe even relate it to the game. Oh, if you want to get better at this, seeing your vision better, here, let me throw this ball at you and see if you can move.
Right.
Here, let me throw this baseball at you and see if you can catch it. Now I'm giving them new tools and resources to be effective, so they have no other choice but to listen. They have no other choice but to be stopped in their tracks. I'm gonna tell you honestly, if I throw a ball at my daughter right now, she's either gonna try and catch it or move out the way. And we slowly build that creative relationship on teaching them, now that I have your attention, let me talk to you about this so you can keep dodging bullets, so you can keep dodging the warfare that you're going to go up against as you get